It was Valentine's Day 2000. In a quiet North Carolina town, the wind howled through the trees. Somewhere along Highway 18 under a storm-filled sky, a 9-year-old girl slipped into the night, packed a book bag, walked out the front door, and disappeared. No note, no goodbye. Just a child swallowed by darkness. 2 drivers saw her walking alone at 4 a.m. A third turned around to help. But by the time he reached her, she was gone. Why did she leave her warm bed in the middle of the night? What was in that backpack she carefully packed? Was she meeting someone? Or running from something only she knew? No trace for days, until her hair bow was found in a shed. Then a decade later, her backpack wrapped in plastic buried off a rural highway, 26 miles away. No fingerprints, no footprints, just silence. This is the story of Asha Degree. And the night innocence vanished into the storm. Shelby, North Carolina. A small southern town where faith runs deep, families look after one another, and children walk to school without fear. It was a place where the Degree family lived a quiet life, modest, close-knit, loving. They were, by every account, the definition of normal. 2 working parents, 2 children, church every Sunday, homework every evening. And yet, something inexplicable happened here. In the early hours of Valentine's Day 2000, their 9-year-old daughter, Asha Degree, vanished. There was no forced entry, no sounds in the night, no struggle, just the soft creak of a bedroom door, the sound of tiny footsteps on a hardwood floor, and a child, dressed in her favorite outfit, quietly slipping into a cold, rainy darkness. She packed a book bag, took a spiral notebook, left behind her favorite stuffed animals, and walked straight into a storm, alone. She was spotted on Highway 18, a dark rural stretch just outside town. 2 separate drivers saw her walking along the shoulder in the pouring rain. One turned around to check on her. But in the few seconds it took to return, she was gone. What happened next would leave investigators baffled for decades. There were no footprints in the mud, no scent trail for the dogs, no confirmed sightings ever again. The search intensified. The town mobilized. Flyers blanketed store windows and telephone poles. But Asha had vanished as if into thin air. Then, almost 2 years later, a shocking discovery. Asha's backpack, buried in plastic, miles from where she was last seen, in a place her family swore she had never been. Inside were items no one recognized. A pencil, a novel that didn't belong to her. The FBI got involved. Tips poured in from across the country. But every new lead led to another dead end. No suspects, no motives, and still, no Asha. Was she lured out of her home by someone she trusted? Was she running away from something, or toward someone? Did she leave because of a secret she never told? Or was her disappearance carefully planned by someone hiding in plain sight? In a world before smartphones, before digital footprints, Asha Degree simply vanished. But her story has never faded. Not from her parents' hearts. Not from the community's prayers. And not from the minds of those who believe the answers are still out there, buried beneath years of silence. This is the story of Asha Degree. A mystery still unsolved. A case still open. And a girl still missing. Before we get lost in theories, sightings, evidence logs, and timelines, we have to return to the very beginning. To understand the mystery of Asha Degree, we must first understand the life she left behind. The Degree family lived on Oakcrest Drive, in a modest 1-story home tucked in the heart of Shelby, North Carolina. Harold and Aquila Degree were devoted parents, hardworking, God-fearing, and committed to raising their children with discipline and love. They were the kind of family who attended church every Sunday, who monitored television time, who kept track of homework, chores, and bedtimes, and most of all, they protected their children. Asha and her older brother O'Brien shared a bedroom. They walked to school together. They played basketball together. There were no police calls, no CPS visits, no history of neglect or abuse. This was not a troubled home. Asha was a shy child, soft-spoken, sweet, cautious. She didn't have her own key to the house, because she never came home alone. She was the kind of girl who cried when her team lost a basketball game, who didn't stray far from her family, who was afraid of dogs and the dark. So when Asha disappeared, without warning, without a word, carrying only her book bag and her secrets, the question wasn't just where she went. It was why she left it all. There were no arguments in the home that night. No signs of distress. Her school day had been normal. Her parents tucked her into bed around 8:30 p.m., after she finished her homework and shower. Her brother O'Brien even heard her moving in her bed just after midnight. But by morning, Asha was gone. Her bed still neatly made, her shoes missing, her book bag gone, and her family left in disbelief. Investigators searched the home. They interviewed friends and neighbors. And again, they found nothing to suggest that this girl had any reason, any motive, to run away. There were no behavioral red flags, no emotional breakdowns, no history of sneaking out. In every way, Asha's disappearance made no sense. And that's what made this case so different. There was no unlocked door, no vehicle pulling up to the house, no anonymous internet chats or late-night phone calls. This was 2000. Asha had no computer, no cell phone, no social media. So the question that haunted this investigation from the very beginning wasn't just, who took Asha? It was, why did she leave? What could have convinced a 9-year-old girl to step into a storm, in the dead of night, and vanish without a sound? February 14, 2000. Valentine's Day. A date meant for cards, chocolate, and childhood crushes. But in Shelby, North Carolina, it became a date etched in dread. The storm that hit that night was brutal. Wind howled. Trees groaned. Torrents of rain pounded the quiet streets of Oakcrest Drive. Somewhere between midnight and dawn, a 9-year-old girl slipped out of her home without waking a soul. She carried a book bag. She locked the door behind her. And she walked into the storm. At 4 a.m., nearly a mile from her home, 2 separate truck drivers saw her. A small figure walking along Highway 18, alone, in the driving rain. One driver circled back. He said she bolted from the road, into the woods, like a startled deer. Back at home, Asha Degree woke around 6:30 a.m., preparing for school and work. She knocked on Asha's bedroom door. Nothing. She opened it. The bed was empty. The panic set in immediately. Harold Degree returned home from night shift to the words no parent should ever hear. Asha's gone. The family searched the neighborhood. Neighbors joined. The police arrived within the hour. No signs of forced entry. No screams. No witnesses. By that afternoon, the search had become a full-scale operation. Helicopters hovered. Bloodhounds tracked scent. Flyers were posted. Local news went live. But Asha was nowhere. Then came a chilling discovery. About a mile from her home, near a tool shed, investigators found candy wrappers, a pencil, a marker, and a hair bow. Items confirmed to belong to Asha. But she wasn't there. And as quickly as the case began, it hit a wall. 4 months, investigators pursued every lead, every tip, psychics, prison informants. Nothing held up. Until a shocking development nearly 18 months later. August 3, 2001. A contractor working on a roadside project in Burke County, 26 miles away, unearthed something buried in plastic. A black book bag. Inside, books, school papers. Asha Degree's name was written on them. The bag had been double-wrapped in garbage bags. Intentionally hidden. Preserved from the elements. It was her bag. But again, no sign of Asha herself. The discovery raised even more questions. Who buried it? When? And, perhaps most importantly, why take the girl and leave the bag behind? By now the FBI had joined the case. Theories swirled. Some believed she was lured. Others insisted she ran, only to encounter the wrong person. One thing was clear. This wasn't just a disappearance. It was a puzzle. And each new piece only deepened the mystery. Asha Degree was just 9 years old. No signs of abuse. No family dysfunction. A sheltered life rooted in faith, schoolwork, and basketball. So why did she leave? Was it curiosity? A dare? A dream spun from the pages of a storybook? Or was someone whispering in the dark, guiding her toward that stormy highway? Some investigators began exploring an unsettling possibility. That Asha had been groomed. Back in 2000, social media wasn't widespread. Internet chat rooms were in their infancy. Asha's family didn't own a home computer. But what if the method of communication was simpler? More analog. Notes passed at school. Messages inside library books. A phone number memorized in secret. Stranger abduction was the leading theory, until it wasn't. Because what kind of abduction begins with a child packing her belongings, locking the door behind her, and walking into the unknown alone? One theory suggests she may have read a story about a girl who ran away, and romanticized the idea. Investigators found that she'd recently read a book about a child who ran off into the night and had an adventure. But who packed her bag? Was it her? Or someone else? Then came the reports. Tips from people who claimed to have seen a girl matching Asha's description. One woman said she saw a girl getting into a dark green car along Highway 18 around 4:15 a.m., just minutes after the trucker's sightings. The vehicle? Possibly an early 1970s model Ford Thunderbird or Lincoln Mark IV. But the lead went cold. Then came the false confessions. In 2004, an inmate claimed responsibility, only to later recant. He knew things that weren't public, but it still didn't add up. Was he seeking attention? Or did he know something investigators missed? Over the years, new witnesses emerged. Some swore they'd seen a girl matching Asha in other states. Others claimed she'd been trafficked, smuggled, or adopted under another name. But each time a thread appeared, it frayed before it could be pulled. No arrests, no confirmations, just shadows. To this day, the FBI believes someone out there knows what happened. They believe Asha may have left willingly, at least at first. But where that path led remains one of the most enduring mysteries of our time. Someone knows. When Asha Degree vanished on Valentine's Day in 2000, she didn't just leave behind her room, her books, her basketball. She left behind a family shattered in slow motion. Harold and Aquila Degree, Asha's parents, were the very definition of devoted. Church every week. Homework every night. No computer in the home. They were doing everything right. So when they woke that morning, to find their daughter gone, it wasn't just fear. It was disbelief. Her father called her name. Her mother checked the bathroom, the closet, under the bed. Nothing. Aquila Degree would later say, "I just want to know what happened. That's all. That's it. I just want to know." In the first hours, neighbors flooded the street. People searched woods, combed through ditches, walked through creeks. Strangers handed out flyers in the pouring rain. And then came the vigils. Each year on Valentine's Day, the community gathers. Not to celebrate, but to remember. They walk from her school, past the woods she may have wandered through, to a billboard with her face, still watching. Asha's case changed Shelby, North Carolina. It changed how people watched their children, how they locked their doors, and how they understood innocence. But her disappearance didn't just ripple across her hometown. It became national. Her case raised awareness for missing children of color, often underrepresented in media and search efforts. Asha's name became part of the national conversation. In 2020, the FBI increased the reward for information in her case. 20 years later, her parents still hoped. Every night, Aquila Degree still leaves the porch light on, in case Asha comes home. Because the grief of not knowing is a grief that never sleeps. 2 decades have passed, but the trail never truly went cold. In 2015, 15 years after Asha vanished, something was found. Buried deep in the woods, wrapped in plastic, sealed in time. It was Asha's backpack. Her name still faintly written inside. But here's the mystery. That spot, where her backpack was found, is far beyond where she was last seen. A 9-year-old on foot, in a storm, could not have made it there alone. So who took her there? And why hide the backpack, but not the child? In 2020, the FBI renewed focus on the case. Tips were reevaluated. Old interviews reanalyzed. New forensic techniques were applied, quietly, carefully. In 2021, a new lead emerged. A man came forward with information. And the FBI confirmed it was credible. Was he a witness? A participant? Or just someone who knows what others refuse to say? Despite this momentum, no arrests have been made. No suspects named publicly. And Asha Degree's fate remains a question with no answer. So many questions still echo. Why did she leave that night? Was she trying to meet someone? Was she scared or tricked? Was she taken by someone who followed her movements? Or was it someone she already trusted? The FBI is still listening, still asking questions. And so are we. Someone knows. Maybe they've buried it, but memories have a way of resurfacing. 25 years later, the front porch light is still on. Asha Degree should be 34 today. She should be working a career she loves, laughing with friends, maybe reading stories to children of her own. But instead, she remains an echo. A name whispered in missing persons bulletins. A face that never aged. The questions still haunt Shelby, North Carolina. Why did she leave that night? Who was she going to meet, if anyone at all? And how did she vanish, without a single trace until years later? No signs of abuse. No family conflict. No digital trail, because it was a time before smartphones and online footprints. So we're left with only theories. And a community still praying for answers. Asha's parents never gave up. Her mother has said, "Until you bring me a body, I'm not going to believe she's dead. And if she walked in the door today, I wouldn't be surprised." Hope doesn't expire. Not for this family. Not for this town. So we ask again. If you know something, anything, say something. Because even after all these years, the case is still open. And the search never stopped. Asha Degree. Missing since February 14, 2000. Last seen walking into the storm. And into a mystery that still has no ending. Still missing. Asha Degree. Age 9 when she disappeared. If you have information, call 1-800-CALL-FBI. If you believe every child deserves to be found, share this video. Let the story of Asha Degree echo across the world. Because someone out there may hold the answer. We want to hear your thoughts. What do you think happened to Asha? Was she running towards something, or away from something? Comment below. Join the conversation. And if you want to stay updated on this case, and others like it, subscribe. Be part of the investigation as we uncover more mysteries, seek justice, and search for the truth. Because the search never stops. The truth is still out there. Thank you for watching. Help keep their stories alive.